I got asked earlier, hey Stix, what gacha games got you started in the genre? Why did you pursue a career in gacha gaming when the vast majority of gacha games are actually not very good? And it got me thinking. So I come from a predominantly JRPG and MMO background. I have two different channels. My other channel is related to MMOs. And as an MMO gamer, you have the general misconception, I think, that gacha games are your average mobile game. And coming from the MMO genre, we have a lot of really bad mobile MMOs. Games like Lineage Revolution, Blade and Soul Revolution, Dragon Raja. Like, there are dozens of really poor quality, really pay-to-win autoplay gacha games or autoplay mobile games that are just contrastingly different from the good gacha games that I've played on this channel. In this video, I kind of just wanted to take a minute to go over the gacha games that I think kind of changed my perception of gacha gaming and mobile gaming overall, and how they essentially changed my life, because without them I wouldn't have started this channel. We're gonna go ahead and start with Genshin Impact, and the reason why is because before I even started playing gacha games, Hoyo, when it was still a relatively small unknown studio, reached out to me and they said, hey Stix, are you interested in participating in the Genshin Impact closed beta test? And I thought, you know what, I love anime games, I love JRPGs, Genshin Impact kind of seems like an anime JRPG. So sure, I played it, and oh my god, like I immediately fell in love. It had this beautiful open world with seemingly endless things to do, endless things to see. The combat was pretty fun. I loved how the combat reinforced different elemental synergies. I thought that the plot was okay, the characters looked good, but most of all, the world. Genshin Impact single-handedly proved to me that mobile games, and more than that, cross-platform games, gacha games as a whole, were capable of producing something of that magnitude. A game that was, for all intents and purposes, the same size, scale, and quality as a console game, as a PC game. So with this in mind, this one singular game changed my entire perception of the genre. Then I got into Arknights. Arknights at the time wasn't really, because they reached out to me and they're like, hey Stix, do you want to do a sponsored video on Arknights? And I was like, yeah, sure, I'd love to. I love strategy games. I played a little bit of Arknights. It wasn't really my thing at the time. Little did I know, Arknights would quickly become one of my favorite gacha games of all time. I quit it for a few months, came back to it because I needed to download something I could play at the airport when I was doing a flight from North Carolina to, I think it was LA or San Francisco. So I downloaded Arknights and I was like, this is gonna be a nice easy game that could just, you know, like launch a few units, battle a couple different enemies. Like, it was supposed to be basic, and it wasn't. Like, sure, the introductory levels were, but Arknights really showed me that strategy games, tactical games, tower defense games were games that I could enjoy on a mobile device as well. Arknights, like there are games out there like Genshin that I think are better played on PC, but there are games like Arknights that are, I think, comparable in terms of fun and in terms of engagement, equally as easy and equally as beneficial to play on either platform. Arknights showed me that there were more genres that were present and available on a mobile device than just something like Genshin. I never thought I could have as much fun as I had in things like Age of Empires or Age of Mythology or the Total War games, but I did. Having played both Genshin and Arknights, I still felt like there were multiple different aspects of the genre that weren't necessarily being met for me, that didn't meet the standards that were set by console games, PC games, RPGs, and at times even MMOs. One of those were combat. Genshin, while elemental synergies was fun, still kind of had, I know this is going to upset some Genshin fanboys, but it didn't have the greatest combat. Its combat was decent, not great. And then I played Punishing Grey Raven. Punishing Grey Raven was like the Black Desert of MMOs. Punishing Gray Raven showed me, after admittedly dozens of hours spent to obtain really cool, really flashy, really powerful characters, that action combat in a gacha game could rival console games, PC games. I didn't think that was possible. There are still people out there now that don't think that's possible. There are tons of MMO gamers out there that think mobile games are just that. Crappy, inferior mobile games with inferior combat, inferior graphics, inferior voice acting, questing, world size and scale. Punishing Gray Raven though, the combat in that was so fast, so fluid, and to date, with the single exception of Wuthering Waves, I have not had as much fun in an action gacha game as I have had in Punishing Gray Raven. This game showed me that action games could thrive on the or not necessarily on the mobile device, but I think, like, so to me, I have big fat thumbs, so playing mobile games on my phone is kind of difficult. Like action games specifically, I think people with smaller, thinner thumbs, maybe that are more flexible or reactive, can do it on their phone. For me personally, the fact that this is playable cross-platform on PC, phenomenal. Reverse 1999 also came out recently, and oh my god, did it blow my mind. I love turn-based games. I love the Legend of Dragoon. I love the Breath of Fire games. I love the Suikoden games. I love the Final Fantasy games. JRPGs that were turn-based were my thing. I grew up with those games. So Reverse 1999 being turn-based, absolutely beautiful for me. Reverse 1999 was beautiful. There weren't voluptuous, over-sexualized characters. They were beautiful in their own way. The voice acting was meticulous and perfect. There are multi-accented characters in there. The story is phenomenal. Everything about Reverse 1999 showed me that it was possible to actually craft a JRPG on your mobile phone. This is a game that excelled on your mobile phone. It was playable cross-platform, PC and mobile, but it was just as good on both. And there isn't a single thing about this game that wasn't beautiful and crafted to perfection. Blue Archive actually started just a few months ago, and in that few month period, Blue Archive has proven to me that beyond every other gacha game, this single game respects your time. They respect the investment that you put into it more than any other game. You can finish your dailies in mere minutes. They reward you with thousands of premium currency per month. They reward you with tens of thousands of premium currency, hundreds of free pulls for anniversary events. They literally shower you with so much that continues to motivate you to keep playing. This game is by far the most friendly gacha game you can play. I don't think there is a single gacha game out there that values your time and rewards your time spent in game as much as this game does. Guardian Tales, I got sponsored by them when the game first came out, and when I played through it, I was immediately hooked. The fact that it felt like an old Zelda game, that it was more humorous than it was serious. Like you see Link appear, you shatter the Master Sword, you turn into a slime because you apply too much of the little ooze ointment makeup stuff. Like this game, there isn't a single gacha game out there that I've played that takes itself less seriously than Guardian Tales does. Guardian Tales is hilarious, high quality, very humorous, while not sacrificing combat, story, content, exploration. The game is incredibly high quality across the board, but by far, it is the most light-hearted comical game that I have ever played on the mobile device, at least. And I genuinely think there need to be more games like this. NIKKE proved to me that a game all about plot could be more riveting, more engaging, more enthralling than any other MMO story out there. That it's dark, it's complex, messed up story was capable of immediately hooking you. That while you think butts, booba are the main focus of the game, they are not. They are a reward for playing the game, but they are not the main focus of it. On the contrary, the story and the deep, compelling characters are the focus of the game. And I don't think there is a gacha game out there that has a story as deep and complex as NIKKE does. Its combat, the further you get through it, requires you to actually play the game. You'd think it's an idle game, but it's really not. This game promotes manual play. It promotes not skipping the story. A game, on the other hand, that does promote skipping the story, that does promote skipping gameplay, and does promote skipping the entire game is Devil May Cry Combat. Devil May Cry Combat showed me exactly how horrendous a gacha game can be. And at the same time, One Punch Man World added to that by showing me how horrible the studio, Crunchyroll specifically, can be when it comes to greed and incompetence. Although the incompetence of a studio has not surpassed the one and only Hada, the people behind Tower of Fantasy. Gacha gaming, the Genshin fandom, and even more so the Tower of Fantasy fandom have shown me how toxic a community can be. Toxic positivity, where their game can do no wrong, where they attack you. Not specifically Genshin fans here. I'm talking about gacha communities. You know who the people are in each respective community that lash out and attack you for speaking truths, for criticizing aspects of their game. I feel like specifically, let me just backtrack a little bit here. Specifically talking about Genshin, I feel like most Genshin players know the things that are wrong with their game and they actively and openly criticize it themselves. But, you know, like games like Tower Fantasy, on the other hand, you know, version 2.0 fixed the game, guys. It doesn't. Version 3.0 fixed the game. It doesn't. Version 4.0. Like, and you voice any criticism for these games and their community immediately lashes out at you. These are games that have changed my life because I have been able to cover them. I have been able to cover the drama, cover the updates, cover the good and the bad, the things they've done right and the things they've done wrong. I've been a part of the gacha genre for the last year and a half, nearing on 2 years. This entire channel with 50-something thousand subscribers has been built on gacha as a foundation. I have grown to love this genre. I have grown to love various different communities, love a plethora of different games within it. And these games specifically helped mold my perception and helped shake the misconceptions I had with the genre as a whole. Now, these aren't necessarily the best games. They're not the games that I think are better than all the rest. They aren't the only games that I think are good. I've played so many more. But these are the games that showed me what the gacha genre has to offer. Now, I'm curious, what gacha games helped mold you? What gacha games showed you that the genre was worth your time, worth your effort? I'd love to know down in the comments below. Now, if none of these are games you're at all interested in, absolutely no problem. I got you covered with 2 different videos on screen right now. Might be more up your alley. Not up your alley. I mean, they might be up your, I don't know.